what's up guys? Today we're going to talk about should you bring on anybody who's willing to get on your team, or should you bring on only people that you know are going to succeed. And we're going to talk about the big three of what you should really try to identify about who's going to succeed or not, and those three factors are definitely going to help you do that. Now, if you're wondering who am I, why should you even listen to this? Well, I currently have an agency doing about $300K per month where we only service insurance agency builders, helping them scale their team, scale their client acquisition, and that kind of stuff. So, you're not going to be sold anything on this video, but it is just to show a little bit of social proof regarding where this advice comes from. I've worked with over 1,000 insurance agency builders, and we currently have about 700 active clients. So yeah, I've seen a lot of people use a lot of different strategies, and I more or less know exactly what's going to work for you guys or not as an insurance agency builder. So, by the way, it's almost 10:30 p.m. and I almost didn't do the vlog today. So we're here, consistency is king, and that's true for anything in life. So without further ado, let's actually get started. There's two philosophies. There's a lot of people that think that you need to do pure volume, numbers game, recruit as many people as possible, and then at some point something's going to happen. And there's the other philosophy of people that think, I'm only going to bring on people that are going to be successful because I'm going to be spending my time with them, and I don't want a bunch of people that don't do anything. So both have pros, both have cons. Let's get into, first of all, what are the pros of hiring sheer number, pure volume? First things first is if you're in an MLM company, like, I'm not going to name any names, but we all know there's like a big six, big five, big six MLM companies in the insurance space where they have thousands and thousands of agents, and they are all very reliant on warm market. So what I mean by that is, in your first 6 months in the business, it's kind of easy to go out to your friends and family and prospect people, get them on meeting, and actually do some decent revenue. But, for some people it's going to be a month, some people it's going to be 12 months, but at some point you will run out of warm market. So what do you do then? Well, you're going to go and help your recruits deal with their warm market. So in a sense, for this business model to stay alive, or actually to thrive, you always need new people joining your team, so you always have new warm market to exploit. And if you ever run out of warm market, then a lot of people get stuck and business goes to zero and they quit. So that's why it's a good idea to actually always be recruiting new people, because even though they are not crazy successful or don't look like high performers and whatnot, then you can go in and tap into their warm market with them as you're training them and actually make some very decent revenue for yourself. So that's philosophy, number one, or reason number one to do it. Now, the other big one that I can think of right now is, even though that person might not be like a top 1%er of like top performer kind of thing, well, you never know who they can recruit, right? They might be able 1, 2, 3, 4 months from now to recruit someone that is actually going to take this super seriously, come in full time after a while, and actually build a massive business. And obviously, if you're their upline, you're going to benefit from that. So those are kind of the two main reasons that I can think of just on top of my head. What I've seen works for some agency builders. And I would definitely say that the reason number one, which is you always have new warm markets to tap into, it makes a lot more sense, because the odds of someone like a C player recruiting an A player are actually very low, because A players don't stick around C players too much, or B players, right? They can sense who's an A player, they can sense a good opportunity, and if that person is a C player, they're not going to be able to sell or convince an A player to join in and kind of be their boss or be their upline, if that makes sense. But an A player would be able to do that. Hope you get the idea. Now, the other thing also is, what are the cons of doing that, right? Well, The cons of doing pure numbers and volume and not having much focus on quality is that you're going to be spending your time and expending yourself very wide, and it's going to take away from the time you could actually be using doing some personal production, the time you could be using training your other A players or building your leaders or prospecting or whatnot. So if time is your biggest constraint in growing your business or in spending time with your family and that kind of stuff, then maybe you want to consider not bringing on everybody on your team. Another thing that you could do is if you've already built somewhat of a team and you get some people that come in and they're kind of iffy, like, I don't know if I want to spend my time directly managing and training that person, then you can definitely send those people to your downlines. And if they're willing to take them as a recruit because it looks good for their number, then they're also willing to train those people. So that's kind of a trade-off, like an in-between of what you could do, right? Now, let's talk about the benefits of only hiring or only recruiting agents that are taking this seriously and that have what we call the big three. So the big three is that when they come in, they know it's all about building their business in financial services. They know it's going to be all commission-based, and they know they're going to work very hard. So if they know these three things and they're still all in with you guys, then chances are that they're going to be more successful than the average agent that joins. And they don't really like the fact that it's commission-based. They don't know if they want to build a business or if they just want to do a little bit of side income. That kind of in-between is usually going to perform less than someone who's all in, going to go full-time, build their business and all that. So that's just what I would say there. But what are the pros of only hiring those kind of people? Well, your revenue per head count or your revenue per recruit average is going to be so much higher. You're not going to have a bunch of sometimers that don't really ever produce and that are just kind of like parking their license. So that's cool because you can actually build a high-performance team, a high-performance culture of people that actually are building a business. And that might also help you build some leaders faster, identify leaders faster, and spend your time only developing these specific leaders in your organization that are then going to be able to build, big legs under your business and essentially grow the business for you passively. So that's the benefit. Now, the downside of this is what if these leaders or you run out of warm market and now you don't have a good source of people that you can pull from to find new leaders, new A players? Because obviously you always want to be recruiting, you always want to be building a business, always making your numbers higher and higher and higher. So if you're not recruiting a lot of average people that have warm markets that you can tap into, then it might be hard for you to source these people. And this is when you would turn into alternative marketing strategies like a lot of agents are doing. You can go to recruiting websites, you can run ads on social media. That kind of stuff is going to help you. It's cold market, but it's going to help you tap into new markets that you don't have access to just by going to Walmart or prospecting the server at the restaurant or asking friends and family for referrals. Obviously, there's going to be a big step in your game once you start prospecting in your cold market. So those would be the inconvenience and benefits, the pros and cons of recruiting high quality people versus anyone that's willing to join your team. And hopefully you guys are able to kind of decide what works best for you depending on your situation. Do I want a lot of warm market to tap into, but also, spend a lot of time with people that are not going to take this too seriously, spend a lot of time training people and kind of having time being my biggest constraint? Or do I want to have a smaller team that is higher performing and have better numbers so I can build some leaders and that kind of stuff? So it's really up to you guys. You can succeed either way. One is definitely more popular than the other. But that doesn't mean it's the right thing to do, right? If you want to be a 1%er, then you can do what 99% of people are doing. So keep that in mind, and I'll see you tomorrow for another vlog. Hopefully a bit longer because I'm going to have a little bit more time. It's not going to be almost 11 p.m. So Thank you so much for your time. See you tomorrow. If you like this kind of content, we talk about agency building on a daily basis on this channel. So definitely subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.